Hello and welcome to the Heartmoor podcast. If you are a returning viewer, then thank you so much for coming back. It has been a while. And if you are a new viewer, then you are also very welcome. My name is Stacey and I live in the southwest of England, in Devon, with my husband, my 3 daughters, and yeah, that sort of sums me up. Yeah, the last one of these, I think this is episode 16. I've got notes today because, to be honest, it's been so long. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed by all the stuff to talk about. So it's the last time I did one of these was back in August, and I had every intention of, you know, getting back into the swing of it and doing it regularly. And then the more that time sort of goes on, the more I was like, oh, I've got too many projects to talk about. I've had got too many whips. It just, millions of excuses just sort of flow through your brain. And yeah, so it just got put off and put off and put off. So today is Easter holidays. I am not at work. It is Saturday, the 8th of April. My husband has taken the kids out for the day. And I was just like, do you know what? Let's just do it. It's not going to be perfect. There's probably going to be bits of information that I haven't got because I just thought if I don't do this, it'll never get done. So I'm just going to wipe the slate clean. I'm going to talk about some of my finished objects that I've done since August. Not all of them. There's been way too many and we'd be here for hours. But some of them. And yeah, I've got a couple of works in progress. Only 2 actually, 2 works in progress. And yeah, just your standard style podcast. This is the Heartmoor podcast. You can find me. I'm going to stutter a little bit today. There might be some cutting out, or you may just have to suffer through it if I don't get to that point. You can find me, I'll link it all below where you can find me, but I'm on Instagram and Ravelry as Heartmoor. I do use my Ravelry project pages. I kind of put the information in for me, but I do put all my projects on there, and generally I'll put my like needle size, what size I knitted, any changes I made, things like any stuff like that. So I'll link to those below. What else? It's a lovely sunny day here. Well, it was sunny this morning. The clouds are starting to come in now. But it's still quite cold. We haven't had a nice, we had one warm day. I think we had one warm day this year, and yeah, it's a bit rubbish really. I was hoping Easter would be a bit warmer. It normally is in England, or at least in the south of England, but not this year. And I'll do a bit of live chat at the end, but it's been so long. There's just so much to say. There's just too much to say. I've gotten over a bout of COVID. I got my first COVID a few, when did I have it? February, end of February. The last 2 weeks in February I was off work quite poorly with COVID. So yeah, I finally got that. It was not nice. I hadn't had it before, and I know there's lots of, you know, everyone gets it differently, but I was quite poorly, so I did have 2 weeks off work, which is the first time I've been off sick sort of in 6 years. So it isn't like me. What else has happened? I don't know, loads, loads and loads, but maybe we'll get more into that at the end. So I've got notes because otherwise there's just no way I'd be able to remember stuff. So what should we start with? Let's start with some things that I finished. I will try and put some pictures up that side. Of the things that I haven't got with me, or things that aren't easy to show. I'm not going to talk about like all the things I knitted as Christmas gifts for people. So I knitted lots of socks, a shawl for my mum, and things like that. So I haven't got those to show or talk about, or any information about those. So let's start with the first thing on the list. So this was actually a work in progress in the last podcast. And it's the Marble Mount by Locatelli. I knitted it in, I haven't got stuff here, so I knitted it in, let me get it, it's hanging behind me, which is the back. It's the back. Sorry, I'm rubbish at this. So this is the marble mount by Locatelli. It's knitted in linen quill by Purl Soho in the colour chestnut red. Oh, it's got such a lovely drape to it. It's got quite a wide neckline, but it's a really nice sort of layering piece. The alpaca linen quill is linen, alpaca and wool. I haven't got any bits here to show you because I finished this quite a while ago now. But it's warm and it's a lovely snug top. I've got a picture of me which I'll insert, just sort of wearing it, which I put on my Instagram. I do try and put my finished objects on my Instagram page, but I actually love it. Look at that drape, like it's. I bought the linen quill originally for a half and half wrap, and just changed my mind and decided that I wanted to use it in a garment. I don't know, I haven't worn this a huge amount because I finished it and then Christmas came and I put on a little bit of weight, which I haven't lost, and it makes my tummy feel a bit snug. So I haven't worn it much, but it's really flattering. I was saying something, what was I saying? Oh yes, I didn't know what it'd be like for garments, but I think, so I know alpaca can be quite stretchy, a bit like sort of superwash, but I think the linen and the wool will hopefully mean it doesn't stretch too much. But yeah, have I got anything else to say about that? No, not really, but it is really beautiful. Yeah, I love the lace. You can see there, like the lace work goes all the way around, front and back, and it's really, really beautiful. It's a nice lovely rib, and it's got like this you do like a bit of garter at the end and it folds over on itself, both. So this is like just sort of a garter ridge, and then at the bottom of the hem as well. So it's kind of like it's a nice finish. You don't got like do a tubular bind off or anything, you just do a couple of rows of garter stitch which fold round on itself and make a really nice polished edge. So that is that one, and that is something that I was working on last time and actually got finished. Let me just hang it back up. I will talk about what I'm wearing. Oh, let's do that now. Let's talk about what I'm wearing. See? This is a Lento. I can't remember who it's by, but it's by Laine magazine. It has now been released as a standalone pattern, which you can get in Ravelry. Well, that's where I got it. I don't know where else, if you can get it anywhere else. I've knitted two Lentos, so let me get them to show you. And I knitted them both quite differently and with different yarns, and they've come out really differently. So both of these, so I've got this Lento as well, a stripy one, and this sort of, hang on, this one, oh god, that's a really unflattering view. Oh, man alive, it's been a while. And this one here, really nice. Oh. Okay, so they're both size 3, but they're both really different, and I think that's probably because of the yarns that I used. So I'm just looking at my notes because I'm never going to remember this. It was ages ago, so I finished this one way before Christmas. So this is the first one I finished, and this is like I say, the Lento. So this was knitted pretty much to pattern. Excuse me. It's got like a folded neckline, and I keep my end in just so I know which is the back. It has got short rows, but you know, I always, when it's sort of folded in a drawer, you don't always, you know, it stretches. Anyway, it's got the folded neckline. I used a woolly knit cone. So originally, so it's knit with mohair and a finger of, oh my god, get my words. This is knit with a 4-ply or a fingering weight yarn held together with a mohair on 6mm needles. So it's a really loose gauge. I'm sure you've seen the Lento about everywhere. It's a top-down raglan, and yeah, the idea is that it's a really loose gauge, so it's, you know, it's quite sort of airy. You can see your hand sort of, I can see my hand through that at the front. You can just about see my hand on the paler bits. And I didn't have a lot of mohair in my stash, so I was just like, do you know what, I'll just get all the bits I had. I had a mini skein set from Nora Georgian, since she's not dying anymore, a mohair mini skein set, and I thought I would just knit it. So the base yarn, I do realise that I'm talking all over the place here, so if you yeah, apologise, just bear with it. I'll loosen up as I go on. The fingering weight that I've used is a woolly knit cone. I can't remember the colour. I don't think it was listed. It's not written inside the cone. I think it's like an oatmeal colourway. So I started with that, it's like a light grey. And then I used the minis. So just, this is like a peachy coloured mohair, and then you can just see the different coloured mohairs that I've sort of held it with. I'm sorry, the sun is doing all sorts of things today, so I'm not really sure where we are. Beautiful purple. This one's like a lilac-y yellow colour. This one is actually an alpaca because I didn't have enough mohair, and I thought I'm going to have to add another colour in. So this is like a pinky alpaca yarn. Then there was a really beautiful sort of mild grey purpley colour, and then like a rainbow one at the bottom. You can see all the rainbow colours in that. And I sort of matched it in the arms, but I had to do an extra layer of this one because I didn't have enough. It's an extra layer of the alpaca. And I did all the cuffs in holding the 4-ply double because I knew I wouldn't have enough. So the rib and the cuff and the rib at the bottom are all held in double 4-ply in the woolly knit because I didn't have enough mohair to add that in. But because I didn't have a lot, this is quite cropped. And it looks quite nice with the dress or something, but I don't wear cropped tops very often. Just the way they sit on me, I don't find very flattering. So I've got this, but I haven't worn it very much. But I love it, so I don't want to give it away because I really, really love it. So I knitted that one before Christmas. Then, and I should tell you that I used 4.5mm needles on all the ribbing and 6mm needles on the body. So then in January, Rebecca from the Queer Bear and someone else, I'm really sorry, someone else was hosting a Lento knit along. I thought, oh, do you know what? It's so quick because of the loose gauge. It's really quick to knit up. So I'll knit another one, but I'll knit it a bit longer this time so that I'll wear it more. And I forgot to enter it into the actual knit along, but I still made it. So then I made this one, and actually, so I started it the same. It's got the same double collar. It's the same size. It's a size 3. But I did the arms slightly different. So you can see on this one, I've knitted it all the way along, and I actually kept the rib in the 6mm. I didn't reduce so this is knitted in 4.5mm needles, but the ribbing on the cuff and the ribbing on the bottom, I did in 6mm needles because I didn't want to on this one. I've done the bit where you go in, the pinched cuff, so you sort of decrease and then you have you've got the pinching in. I didn't want that on this one. I wanted this one to just be wide and loose. So I did that, and then I knitted it, obviously I showed you a minute ago, I knitted it longer so it comes down to my hips. And I wear this one all the time. It's got a fabulous, just the right amount of ease for me. I have no idea exactly how much ease it is. I don't really measure or do gauge swatches. The sleeves are a really good length for me, just past bracelet, just sort of on my edge, past my wrist bone, and I love it. And this is knitted in, I don't know if I can get a bit closer, you can see the colours in it. So this is again knitted in a woolly knit 4-ply cone in Lupin. So that's sort of like the pink base is like is Lupin by woolly knit 100% British wool cone. And then there's, I'm trying to see if the colours will come out. There's like yellows, and the sun isn't quite doing the colours justice today. You can probably see it better back here. And I held it with a baby suri alpaca because I find that softer than mohair. And that was by Loom Wool. I'll link them, well, list it or link, I don't know, I'll put them down below. And the alpaca is by Loom Wool, and it was the colour baby suri alpaca, the colour in Wildflower. And it's just a really beautiful sort of pale pinkyish base, but with lots of like yellows and creams and like a little bit of green maybe in there. So it's a really beautiful colour, and together they've marled lovely, and I love this jumper and I wear it all the time. And I need to sit back up. Let's get comfy and sit back up. So that's my 2 lentos that I finished. I've also finished, got another 4 finished objects to show you. I made a pair of penny gloves just sort of at the end of December. I did talk about them on my Instagram page, but obviously I haven't done a podcast, so they're not on here. And this is a pattern by Petite Knit. It was all the rage in the winter. Everyone was making penny gloves. And these are mine. I've got 2. I'm just gonna, there's no point showing you both. I'll just show you one. And it's got a lovely it's got like a rolled bottom, and sort of the top sort of rolls down again, a bit like my marble mount. And I'll put it on and show you. So these are quite tight. I knitted them ever so slightly longer than the pattern. But they are absolutely gorgeous. Can you see all the colours in that? Oh my God, it's absolutely stunning. Really, really beautiful. And what can I tell you about these? So I picked cast on 74 stitches. I can't remember what's in the pattern. I kind of just went with what I thought would be comfortable. So I cast on 74 stitches. No, what a load of rubbish. That's another FO I'm reading the notes from. Did not cast on 74 stitches. I knitted these to pattern, exactly as the pattern. And I used, oh no, I have written it down. Okay, start again. So I used 3mm needles, and I cast on 44 stitches. And it's a really, really tight gauge. And I think that's because of the yarn I've used. This is going to felt amazingly. Like, this is going to become like the warmest. I probably should have made them slightly bigger, knowing that they're going to, not from my mouth, knowing that they're going to felt. I probably should have made them slightly bigger because they are really, really snug. But, you know, they're still going to fit. I'll still squish my hands into them some way or another. And the yarns I used are, so this is my bag from Moo and Mouse. I love this bag. This is Harriet the Hedgehog. And I have kept the yarns in here. So the base colour is a grey, and then I used a suri alpaca again for the colours. So like the pinks, yellows, reds. So the mohair, no, it's not a mohair. The baby suri alpaca. 74% baby suri alpaca, 26% silk. The colourway is Jijivisha. Jijivisha. Don't know if you can read that. I don't know if it will help if I tap. Jijivisha. Anyway, and it's by Zakami yarns. It's all bent out of all recognition. And this is what's left. So this is the mohair, baby suri alpaca. Oh! It's all the way over the other side of the room. I'm not going to get that. But you can see how it's sort of come up in here. It's really beautiful. And then I used, I haven't got the label in here. I went to a National Trust Christmas fair back in November, and there was a vendor there from an alpaca farm, and she was selling their own sort of alpaca, and I bought an undyed, just a little 50-gram skein, and it's this lovely grey. It's not going to focus on my face. No, focus on the arm. Hang on. No, it's not going to focus. It doesn't like it. This beautiful little grey, browny grey, quite a browny grey nugget, and I held those together. So it's double alpaca. So this is an alpaca 4-ply, and then the alpaca lace held together. I've made this really, really thick glove. That's what I was trying to say. So that was that one. Let's put that on the floor actually because it's finished. Next, I knitted my, so my youngest daughter is 8 years old and she is very knitworthy. They're all knitworthy actually, all the girls, but she's particularly knitworthy. I don't have the item here, but I'll put a picture in, and I knitted her a Saturday Shrug by Jackie Rose of Caddy Jack's Knits. It's really, really beautiful lemon yellow colour. She absolutely loves it. She wears it all the time. She wore it to school for Careers Day because she wants to be a teacher. So she wore sort of like smart trousers, a white blouse, and then her shrug over the top because that's what a smart teacher would wear. And it's knitted in an Aldi, a yarn from Aldi, which is just like a cheap supermarket over here. Some sort of bulky weight. There was no label on it. My husband just bought it for me one day. And I knitted it on 6mm needles. And I cast on 72 stitches because it was for a child. So I just cast on until I thought it looked about right. So that was, yeah, for me and for this yarn, it was 72 stitches. And then I just knitted until I'd used up the whole ball of yarn. And yeah, that's one for her. So that's another one ticked off the list. I'm just going to mark these off because I've talked about them. Right, there's 2 more finished objects left. I had an yarn advent. I need a drink. Hang on. I'm drinking squash because I don't really drink tea or coffee. But I do like squash. Very weak squash, but I do like it. So for Christmas, I did a yarn advent last year, and I went for Zakami's 12 days of healing advent. I've seen a lot of people have Zakami advents from last year, but I think they did like 3 or 4 different types, and I haven't seen anyone with the yarns that I got, which is quite interesting because I really wanted to see what other people made with them, but I haven't seen anyone else who got the same calendar that I got. And it was, I've got it here actually, it was the Advent Healing Box 2022, and it was 2 skeins, 200 gram skeins of yarn. Where is the, I don't think I've got a label in here. Oh yeah, it was a BFL Gotland mix, so 75% BFL, 25% Gotland. That was the mix of the Advent. And you got 200 gram skeins in a DK weight and 12 minis. And there was also a pattern. So this one came with a pattern written by, I think it's written by one of the, I can't find the pattern now, so that's not even going to be helpful. I think it was, the pattern was actually written by Melinda, who is one of the dyers. Is it Melinda? No, this is the crochet version. I don't know where the knitted pattern is. It's somewhere else. But I think it was written by one of the dyers for Zakami, but I'm not quite sure. But I haven't been able to find the pattern on Ravelry, I'm afraid, so I can't share it with you. But basically there were 2 skeins of, can you see that? Oh, it's better over this side. Yeah, like this, there were 2 skeins of green. They were both slightly different. So this one is like a real khaki green. And the other one was a little bit more sort of meadow green, maybe. I can't find the other skein. I went in this box to get everything out and the other one's missing. So yeah, there's 2 skeins of this. And then there were 12 minis, and they're really beautiful colours. This is what I've got left. You're not going to be able to see it, but I'll show you anyway because you'll see it. You'll see it. They're falling everywhere. Really, really beautiful. So you can see there's like purples, pinks, there's like a bright blue, that one. I love this one. Like a bright blue with some brown speckles in it. Brown and like beigey ones. That one's like a green and gold, right through to burgundies, and a nice grey. So that, yeah, there were 12 mini skeins, and I decided to knit the pattern that it came with. And here it is. So this is called the Meadowsweet scarf. Again, I can't find this on Ravelry anywhere, so I can't share the pattern, I'm afraid. It just came with the Advent. But here it is. It's just so soft and squidgy and really drapey and beautiful. And I'll show you from this end, and then I'll sort of show you a bit more. So you start off with like these beautiful, so this, basically it's the green interspersed with the mini. Then you go back to the green, then another mini, and halfway through you swap greens because you run out of one, and you move on to the other and then carry on with the mini. So you start off with like these browns. You're not going to be able to see my mouth, I'm really sorry. So all I'm doing is saying the colours. If you're lip reading, then I'm just sort of saying greens, browns, blues, whatever. Browns into burgundies, into like this yellowy one, more burgundy browny ones. So we're getting a bit darker here. So this was a really nice dark brown, into really beautiful burgundy. And then this is where it switched greens. So it switched greens here, so you can see, so you start off with, there was this green, and then we slowly moved into this green. So all the way through it was that colour green, and now we're slowly moving into the dark green. So in the middle you've got like both the greens. And then it moves forward into like these blues, greys, that beautiful, really nice blue, more blues, pale blue, that really beautiful dark blue that I love, and then back to sort of like a muddy greeny browny colour. And yeah, it's huge. It really is quite big, and it's super snuggly. Like, I sort of, oh my god, it's so snuggly, and squishy, like really squishy. So I guess, I don't know if I would wear it like this or just tuck this up at the back. And I mean, you can see how massive it is. Like, it's so bulky and thick. I think I did block it. Well, I didn't block it. I washed it and hung it up to dry. But I didn't block it, and I think it needs blocking because it's, can you see how raggedy it is on the edges, just where it is? And I think you can see here, I could quite comfortably stretch this out a little bit more because it's got this beautiful lace pattern, which I'll show you. So lace, no, combination of like slip stitches basically. So there's garter and slip stitches all the way through. And that's really what the pattern is, just garter and slip stitches. But I think I could stretch it out just a tiny bit more. But we had a bit of a mouse problem. And I didn't want to put anything on the floor, anything fabricy out, where they might have like ripped it to pieces or tried to nest in it. So while I washed it and hung it up, I think it needs blocking because I think you could quite comfortably get, you know, a bit more out of it. But it's just stunning, really beautiful. The pattern is lovely, and I don't know if they're going to be releasing it as a formal pattern at any point. But the yarn, like the BFL Gotland, is so soft and snuggly. It was lovely to work with. Green isn't my favourite colour, particularly like this khaki green. I don't wear it, but with all these blues and reds and all the other colours, the whole thing is stunning, and I will definitely wear that next winter. So that is my Meadowsweet scarf. Okay. Oh, and that was knitted on 6mm needles. Last, pens falling everywhere. Last finished object, and we're half an hour in. I don't think we're doing that bad. The last one was a work in progress. Put my pencil down so I don't point at you. Was a work in progress, I think, in August, or I was just about to start it. And that's my Lace and Fade Boxy. Again, this hasn't been blocked, so I'm classing it as a finished object, but I haven't blocked it because I didn't want to lay it out. But I think we got rid of the mouse, so I think I'm safe to block things again. And I do want to wear this now that spring is here. Let me get it out. So the Lace and Fade Boxy is a pattern by Locatelli. It's a really oversized boxy pattern that sort of mixes coloured stocking stitch with a plain sort of lace pattern in between, which I will show you. I don't know if there's a picture on the finished. No, you're not going to be able to see that because it's black and white. So let me show you. There's still some little short ends sticking out, but you can't see it when it's on, so I can't be bothered. Right, so here it is. This is it's really creased because it's been in a bag waiting to be blocked. So this is my Lace and Fade Boxy. Really, it's massive. Like, oh, yeah, it's really, really big. It's got sort of, it's a drop shoulder, so it's got really short little sleeves. They're sort of just below my elbow, really. It's just a rounded, I think it's, which way round is it? It has got short rows. I think it's this way. Yeah, it's just like a fold it around, sort of a rolled, that's the word I'm looking for. It's a rolled collar. I made a huge mistake when I started this. Now, I know everyone's different, and some people are perfectionists and some people are not, and I am not. I am a product knitter, not a process knitter. I knit to get what I want, and I will make sacrifices to get what I want. I don't like ripping back at all. Sorry, my hair's in the shadow. So at some point, so here's the front. At some point I made a huge mistake and I had to Kitchener it back together. So you can just see here where I've had to Kitchener a whole length. Basically I twisted, it was knit front and back to start with. You knit the back and then I think you knit the front because of the way it's put together. And I twisted it, which was really stupid. So I had to cut it. I didn't want to start again, so I cut it and Kitchenered it. But because of the way the lace is, I don't think, so on this side you can see the lace lays a bit flatter on here. There's a bit of a ridge. You can't really see that when it's on. Like, when you know it's there, you can see it, but you really can't. And it's beautiful. So what yarns have I used? I don't actually know, but we'll go through them. So this is an undyed yarn, which I used for the top section and for the sleeves. The fluff is an undyed alpaca, and the lace is really beautiful, but it does need blocking, definitely. The lace is an undyed alpaca. Now I've got to work out what colours I use because I haven't taken them out since I started. So this first one, this like pinky, beautiful pinky one with like bits of purple and things in. Here is, you don't really use much at all. So here's what's left in the, oh, the light's so bad. Here's what's left in the skein. And this is a, what one's this? This is a Blue Fern Yarns, Shannon at Blue Fern Yarns. And this is just a one-of-a-kind colourway that a friend gifted me. And this is in her platinum, so it's a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It's all 4-ply. So this is, yeah, this is a Blue Fern Yarns colourway. It's a one-of-a-kind, so it doesn't have a name, but it's really, really beautiful and subtle. Let's pop this back in the middle. Then the next colour, where are we? So that was the top one, that was Blue Fern Yarns. The next one is this really beautiful pinky one, again with just sort of a few sort of dark blue, dark purple speckles. And that one is, oh, they're all tangled, is here, again, really, really beautiful. Nice pink with white and pink. And this is another, is this Blue Fern Yarns again? Yep, this is another Blue Fern Yarns. And this is another one-of-a-kind colourway. I think I ordered one of, she was doing like mystery sets, and you just, I think you got like 4 skeins for sort of a discounted price, but they were all sort of random. And it's a one-of-a-kind pink colourway, again, Blue Fern Yarns, and it's another platinum 4-ply, 75/25, and it's, yeah, really beautiful. And then let's put that one back into the mess. I'm going to be able to reuse these because there's so much left. So that was that one. Then I moved on to this darker one here. It's this beautiful dark pink. Again, just a little bit sort of more tonal rather than speckled. That's really nice. And that one is here. with a beautiful pink. And this one is, if I can find the label, this one is a Zakami yarn. There we go. Zakami yarn, and it is 100% superwash fine merino, 21 micron. Yeah, so this was just 100% merino, and this was by Zakami. Oh, I'm shadowing it now. And that's just a lovely sort of tonal pink, slightly darker than the others. Get that back in the middle so I don't forget what they are. And the last one is, where are we? The last one is this sort of really much brighter sort of cherry pink. It's not a red, it's definitely a pink, but it's a cherry pink, I'd say. I wasn't quite sure if the colours went together, but actually, yeah, I think they do. And this really beautiful cherry pink, again, a nice sort of tonal colour. And I haven't got a label for this one. Oh, no, I have. It's here. Here it is in the skein, in the cake, I should say. And this is by Viking yarns. I don't know if they're dyeing anymore. I got this in a stash. Bought this in a stash. D-stash, that's the word I'm looking for. Bought this in a D-stash. And this is Viking hand-dyed yarns. And again, this is 100% superwash merino and in the colour toffee apple. So that one's toffee apple. Right, let's try and let's just try and tidy that up a bit. Oh, and this bag, was living in my, oh, for goodness sake, come on little ends, get in. This is living in my Plymouth gin tote bag. Look at that, Plymouth gin. Yeah, I got this with a gift set with a whole load of gin. I love it. So that's in there. So what can I tell you about this? It's not blocked, so I don't want to put it on because it's not going to be a fair reflection of what it's going to look like finished, because I think it's going to come down. Yeah, that's going to come down at least another 2 inches. So I haven't had any FOs or anything with this on, but I really want to wear this for spring. But it's really oversized. It's very beautiful. And I'm just reading my notes so I can tell you. Put them in front of me so that I'm just looking down instead of all the way over there. So I made a couple of mistakes with this, as you know. So on the collar, I twisted it and had to thingy it. I made the size 4. I did, so what does that actually say that I've written down? Oh yeah, so on the body, and I used 4mm needles. And I was using, yeah, 4mm needles. And then when I went to do the arms, I went to my Chalgu mini set, and I wanted different lengths on either end. And I accidentally picked up a 4.5 on one end, but a 4 on the other. So the arms are actually knitted in 4.5mm, but the rib is done in 3.75mm. And also, so I don't think you can tell that the arms are ever so slightly bigger than the body, especially not when it's blocked, you won't. So yeah, so these were knitted in 4.5mm, sleeve in 3.75, the cuff in 3.75, and the rest of it in 4mm. And also, when I picked up the stitches for the sleeve, because obviously you're picking up a bit of lace and you're picking up a bit of, where's the top? You're picking up a bit of everything. I can't remember how many it told you to pick up in the pattern, but it wasn't anywhere near enough. So I picked up 74 stitches. I just kept picking up where I felt it looked right, so it looked tidy. And I didn't want gaps or anything. So I picked up just all the way around until it felt right to me. And that was 74 stitches. So all I did was I basically decreased. There are some decreases that you need to do to taper it slightly. And I just decreased every 5 rows. I did a decrease round until I ended up with however many stitches you needed to do the cuff. yeah, so I just picked up, I didn't worry about what the pattern said. I picked up whatever I thought looked right, and then I just decreased every 5 rounds until I got to the right number, and then I cast off. So that's really the only thing I did differently. Everything else I did to pattern. And that is my lace and fade Boxy, which I really love. And yeah, I need to get that blocked, I think, this week, so I can start wearing it in spring. And that is all my finished objects, all the ones I've got to show you anyway. Okay, 2-minute break. And then we'll move on to, I've only got 2 works in progress, so the rest of the video is going to fly. If you've made it this far, you haven't got long to go. Just sit tight. We'll get there. Hang on a minute. I'm gonna have a drink. Lovely. Oh, let's move that out of the way. Where's the bag gone? Oh gosh, can't reach. I hope you're all doing well, actually. I hope you've all had a really lovely Easter break so far. It's Easter Sunday tomorrow. My girls are quite looking forward to the Easter egg hunt from the Easter Bunny and getting lots of chocolate. I've got hair in my mouth, excuse me. Sorry. Okay. And so am I love chocolate. So I'm looking forward to getting some chocolate for Easter tomorrow. Okay, works in progress. So I've got 2. Yeah. Where is it? Oh. So for Christmas, I knitted my husband. So I always knit sorry, my foot's hurting. I always knit me and my girls a pair of socks for Christmas. So we get them on Christmas Eve, and on Christmas Day we all wear our socks, and it's lovely. But my husband's got big feet, and I've never wanted to do it before. But this year I knitted us all DK sparkly socks, and so I thought, do you know what? I'll knit him a pair of shorties. And so I've got it in this bag. So this was Bird Street yarn, I Am the Gingerbread Man, and I knitted him a pair of shorty socks. And he bloody loved them, didn't he? Absolutely loved them. He wore them on a scout camp, and he's like, they're the warmest things I've ever had in my life. I was like, oh, that means I've got to make him more. He's a size 10.5 UK. So yeah, relatively big, as you can see, huge. So I thought, you know what, I'll just knit him another pair, because he obviously wanted them. So I found a yarn in my stash. It's a Regia Ani and Carlos one. Yeah, just a simple one, and this is the colour. It's a really beautiful blue with bits of red, a little bit of beige in it. I've knitted a few pairs of socks in this colourway before, actually. I quite like this one. And I have made a start on his first sock. So I have cast on, here it is. This is where I'm at. Let me just take it out of the holder. This is where I'm at. So I cast on 72 stitches. I knit 20 rounds of ribbing, 20 rows of ribbing. Then I've marked it on here, 10, 20, 30, I've done 40 rows on the leg, slip stitch, heel flap and gusset, and I'm working my way through the foot. And I think I'm about halfway before I need to do the toe. It's taking forever. I always knit on DPNs. These are 2.5 millimeters. That's what I knit all my 4-ply socks on, 2.5 millimeter DPNs. And yeah, I wasn't quite sure, because I've knitted myself socks in yarn before, but because I've not knitted them for my husband, I wasn't quite sure how much I'd have to play with. You know, how long I could do the leg or the cuff. So I thought I'll make the first sock exactly how long I want it. So I want it this long. And then if it turns out I've run out of yarn by the time I get to the toe on the other sock, I'll just use a different one. He won't care. You know, he wears, you know, he doesn't sort of display his socks to anyone. So if it turns out that I've not got enough yarn, it won't be the end of the world. So yes, that's the first one. I'm hoping to get those done by Father's Day in June, because they're just my pick up and put down. Whenever I'm sort of not in the mood for anything else, that's what I choose to knit on. And for some reason I can't fit them into my DPN holder. What's going on? What's going on? Oh, ow, that went in my foot. Oh, no, 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 no. It's come off. I've lost a few stitches. Hang on, hang on. Is there another stitch there I've lost? I think there might be. Oh, I'm going to have to knit that again. Okay. I think we're good. I think we're good. Let's put them away. And these are being held in a little spring bunny bag. And I have no idea who that's by. There's no label. I've had it for a couple of years now, and yeah, I'm afraid there's no label on it. I got it on Etsy, but really lovely. So that is one work in progress. And because I've been a bit of a monogamous knitter, all these things I've done one at a time. And I find that's just helping me get through it a bit better. And my other work in progress is another garment. And it is the Lakes Pullover by Ozetta. And it's not being held in a bag because I couldn't be bothered to find one. So it's just on the side of the couch, basically. That's just where I leave it overnight, and my husband hates it. Let me see if there's a picture of it. Have I printed a picture? Entertain yourselves, have a drink, get a bite to eat. I'll be there in a minute. Okay, it's not a very good picture actually, but this is the, I don't think I'm going to give much away. It's the Lakes Pullover by Ozetta, and it's another, it's not a raglan at all. It's a saddle shoulder design, which I'll show you in a minute, but it's a really simple jumper. I just want some basics in my wardrobe. And for Christmas, my mother-in-law likes to buy me what I want. And she said, what do you want? I said, some yarn. She said, fine, you buy it. This is your budget. Give it to me and I'll wrap it up. So this is being knit in. And it's the first time I've tried this yarn. And I really, really, really wanted to try it because everyone talks about it. And I really wanted to try it. And it is in the Knitting for Olive. And I got the heavy merino, and it's the colour cream. And this is 100% merino, and 50 grams is 125 meters. So I got 12, 10 or 12. I can't remember. A reasonable amount of balls, enough to do a garment, a sweater, in the cream merino. And this is a saddle shoulder design, so I've not knitted one of those before. Here's the yarn. Lovely cream. Nice thick DK, the heavy merino. It's really, I love working with this actually. It's not as soft as I thought it would be for 100% merino. It's definitely got a grip feel to it, a slight grip, but I absolutely love knitting with it. It's just delightful on the fingers. And I have done quite a bit on this. I'm not far off finishing. Where's the back? There's the back. So here it is. So I haven't done the collar yet. So you start off, because it's so, as you can see, it's a saddle shoulder. So that's the, let me just hold that up like that. You can see, so here's the shoulder. So this is like, put that in my shoulder. So you kind of knit these sort of rectangles here. Oh my gosh, this is not going well at all, is it? Yeah, you can just about see the rectangle. So you kind of knit a rectangle up to here, which forms like the saddle. And you pick up stitches along the front and the back, and you knit sort of the back first, then you knit the front, then you knit the body and the ribbing, and it's quite a long ribbing. It's 4 inches of ribbing on this one. Really nice long ribbing. And then I've done this sleeve. So then you pick up round here, and then the end of the saddle shoulder was on hold. So those stitches, so it's seamless. So you've got from the neck, and you can see where the sort of saddle shoulder ends, but it's seamless all the way down the sleeve, which is really nice. And then a really long 4-inch cuff on the sleeve. and I am almost at the cuff. I've got 3 rounds to do, and I'm at the cuff for the second sleeve. But so I've knitted this to pattern. I haven't made any changes, and it was, you do 14 rounds of decreases at the sleeve. So it says to knit 14 rounds of decreases, then continue on till it's this length, whatever, and then do the ribbing. But once I'd done my 14 rounds of decreases, it was about an inch longer than it should have been. So this is quite long. It might be one of those ones that I just have to roll up when I wear it. I might just roll the cuff up when I wear it, but it's quite long. So I'll make it work. But yeah, and I have checked my gauge, and I even did a gauge swatch for this. I just don't do gauge swatches. And I've knitted this in, where are the needles? I think they're 5, where are they? 5mm needles. These are my Chowgu minis now that I'm using on the sleeve with my little stitch stoppers that I got off of Etsy. I can't remember where I got them from. Yeah, these are my Chowgu minis. So I've got sort of a long one, and I've got 2 long ones at the moment. But when I get to the ribbing, I'll switch one of these out for the slightly shorter one. God's sake, I'm always in front of my face. For the slightly shorter one, I'll have 1 long, 1 short, and that should be enough to do the ribbing. And then I just have to pick up for the collar. There are short rows in this I have to pick up for the collar. And it'll be finished and ready to wear probably next winter, because I don't know if I'm going to want it, but I really wanted a cream sweater in my wardrobe. I'm knitting the size, I want to say 4. Yeah, I'm knitting the 4th size again, just because I like quite a bit of ease in my baggy jumpers. And I can't wait to wear that one. I really can't. So I'm gonna, as soon as I've finished on here and got all this done, I'm gonna finish that sleeve off, start the cuff, and I'm hoping I'm gonna have a couple of balls left because of this, because I really want to knit a ribbed beanie. Yeah, I've seen a few patterns, and I really want a ribbed cream beanie for winter. So I'm hoping if I've got a couple of balls left, I'll have enough to do that. So that is, I'm going to put that up there because I'm going to do that in a minute. That is my 2 works in progress. So yeah, thank you if you've stayed this long. I'm going to move on to acquisitions. I've only got a couple to show you. I've had more acquisitions, obviously, like the lakes, like the Merino, and what I've used in my penny gloves and my advent and things like that. So I have had a few different acquisitions, but I've used them straight away, so I won't talk about those. Oh, actually, before I move on to acquisitions, I'll talk about future plans, because I've got 3 on here that I want to do. So with the leftovers from my Zakami advent, I want to make some scrappy socks. I don't think BFL Gotland is perfect for socks, but I think if they're house socks, I'm not going to care. They'll felt up. If I just wear them around the house in my slippers, they'll felt up quite quickly, so they shouldn't get too damaged. I'll knit them slightly bigger than I would normally make them, slightly longer anyway, just so that if they felt, then they'll fit me perfectly. So I plan on doing some scrappy socks with my leftover advent. I want to make a ranunculus. I haven't made one yet, and I did a make 9 this year, which I put on my Instagram, so I'll have linked that below. And on my make 9 is a ranunculus, also the Lakes Pullover and the Lace and Fade Boxy and the Lento on my make 9, so I'm all right. I've done nearly 3. And I've got some more linen quill in, what, did I bring it down? I did. I'm going to use this one for my ranunculus. And this is the linen quill by Purl Soho again, and this is in the colour Oatmeal Grey. So I'm going to use this for my ranunculus, so that's my plan. And I really want to cast on a scrappy blanket. I've got 3 started, and I'm not sure I like any of them. I'm not going to get it all out because I think I'm going to do a jelly roll by Kay from the Bakery Bears, Kay Jones, I think, from the Bakery Bears. I think I'm going to do a jelly roll, but I haven't decided. I've just got a big bag of little minis, and oh, some needles sticking out there. Make sure those don't get stuck in my eye. There's a needle stuck out down there too. See, I've got like half finished projects in here where I've started something, thought, oh, I'm not sure. I'll start another one. Oh, I'm not sure. 3 half-started projects and a big bag of minis. But I think the one I'm going to continue on with is the jelly roll. And so next time, there will be a next time. There will be. I might have that to show you. And that's it, really. That's my plans for the moment. I don't like to make too many. I don't like to have too many things on the needles. And I've got to finish off my husband's socks, which are going to take me a while as well. So that is all the knitting stuff. I've just got a couple of acquisitions and then a bit of life chat. So if that's not your thing, thank you for, if you have watched, thank you so much. Thank you for, if you come back from sort of still being a subscriber 9 months down the line, and thank you so much. I do appreciate it. If you've just watched this today, then I would really appreciate a thumbs up, and if you want to subscribe, that would be great. I'd like to build the channel. I've been stuck on like 470 subscribers for like about a year and a half. And it would be great to grow the channel. I do like sharing my stuff, and I want to try and get on here more regularly. So yeah, that would be lovely if you wanted to subscribe. Okay, acquisitions. Again, only got a couple. This one here. So when I went to, sorry, a tiny bit of rustling, it's in a paper bag. When I went to that National Trust, it's gone. Oh yes. When I went to the National Trust Christmas fair and I bought the alpaca yarn for my penny gloves, she also had some hand spun yarn, and so this is the company. It's just in the bags. It's Samford Alpacas, and they're Tregangate Farm in Liscard. And she's got a website. I don't think they're on Instagram, but there's a website there. It's samfordalpacas.co.uk. I don't know if you can see that. And I just, it was lovely. Look at this. I'm going to get this side. Can you see that? Look at that hand spun. I've never knitted with hand spun before. Spinning doesn't really interest me at the moment. It might do one day, but it doesn't at the moment. But I mean, look at that. It's beautiful creams and sort of beiges and like camel colours, and really, really lovely. So I have no, oh look, there you can see, look, it goes a lot, it sort of goes a bit darker inside. I've no idea what to make with it. I'm thinking just, I don't want to mix it with anything. I'm thinking a cowl maybe. Just a really simple garter stitch cowl. Oh, garter stitch cowl like that. Yeah, I have absolutely no idea. I think there's 100 grams here. So I bought that, but I've no idea what to do with it. But it's just so lovely. So it's just sitting in my stash for a while. Then, oh, for Christmas, my husband bought me some yarn. I did give him an entire list of yarn dyes that I liked and said, these are the colours I like. And he did all right. So I've got 2 of these, but this is from Sherry Iris. Here we go. And this is Unicorn. This is the colourway Unicorns. It's this beautiful pink, blue, teal, white, beige, not beige, white, yeah, white, pink and sort of tealy blue green colour. Really beautiful. It's a DK weight and it's 75/25. And like I said, I've got 2 skeins of this. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet, but I'm just enjoying it being in my stash, and when the right project comes along, I will knit something up in those. So got those. And then what's in here? Why have I not looked in there? Oh, it's the other ball of that Zakami, the darker green. That's where it is. Put that over there in a minute. Oh, and the pattern's in here too. Oh, who's the pattern by? It was all on a bit of paper. The pattern's by Melinda Gertrude Zakamis. I think that's the Diary of Zakami yarns. Anyway, yes, my last acquisition. My aunt went to Norway recently, and I said, please, please, please buy me some yarn. Buy me something that's Norwegian, just something local. Just so she's got no idea. So she said she went to this yarn shop and it was huge and there was yarn everywhere. And she was just like, oh, I don't know what to do. So she found a yarn that was made in Norway, Norwegian-based yarn. And she bought me 3 skeins. So she's bought me I was so proud of her. I was like, oh, you bought this yarn. I'm so happy. So I've got some Ravelry yarn. Oh, I wanted Ravelry. And I was so pleased that she got it. I didn't want to ask her for something specific because I felt like I was putting pressure on her to get me something, because I thought, well, she might not buy me yarn. She might be a bit overwhelmed. She might be busy. Just get whatever. You know, if you want to get me something. That would be great. But if you don't, you don't. So I didn't sort of say anything specific, but I really wanted Ravelry. So she got me some Ravelry yarn. This one is suri. Can't read that. And it's in the colour 411. And yeah, so it's sort of like a brownie. Can you see that colour? It's like a brown. It is brown. It's a brown colour. And then she got me 2 of Ravelry Fino. 2 of these, both the same. And this is colour 0406. Yeah, 100% Norwegian wool, Ravelry Fino, and Ravelry, and this one here. So I've got these 3 colours. They're not unusual colours. I don't normally go for browns and beiges, but I think they'd make a really nice shawl. Yeah, maybe something with a bit of colour work in it or something like that. So I think these will end up being a really nice shawl. And actually with like shawls, you just wear a beige neutral shawl will go with anything. So that is the plan for those. And that is all the yarn stuff. Again, thank you so much if you've made it this far and you stuck with me and you've come back, etc, etc, etc. Life stuff. Again, it's Easter holidays. There's no point me going back like for the last 6 months and telling you what we've done. So I'll just sort of tell you what we're doing in Easter holidays, really. We've been out to a National Trust place with some friends. I did the Easter egg hunt there. Today, like I say, my husband has taken, or yesterday we went to a garden centre with my mum. Today, my husband's taken the girls out to, just for the day. I just said, like, I have them all the time. He works shifts, so he quite often has time off in the week. So he'll have like, he works 6 days on, 4 days off. And quite often that falls on a school day. So there's no one at home. And I said, I've got 2 weeks at home. Can you just take the kids out just for a day? I just want there to be nobody in the house. I want to shout, scream, sing, dance, fall asleep, knit, read, podcast, do whatever I want, but with nobody else here. So he's taken them out, and his dad's gone fishing today, so he's going to take them somewhere for the day and then end up somewhere on the beach, and they'll probably get back about 7 or 8 o'clock tonight. Today it's about 12:30 in the afternoon, so I think I've got another 6 or 7 hours to myself. And then tomorrow's Easter Sunday, so we've got my brother-in-law and sister-in-law coming round for dinner. Monday's exciting. You'll like Monday. So my husband sent me a link to this place called Uffcombe Mill, and it's in between sort of Exeter and Tiverton in Devon. So about an hour away from where we live. And it's an old steam-powered textile mill. Now, my husband is obsessed with steam, mainly trains, but, you know, let's stretch it out a little bit. This is steam. So he was like, oh, look, there's this steam place. And I was like, oh, okay, that looks good. I looked a bit more into it, and they do their own yarn. Like, they got yarn. So it's an old textile mill, but they do sort of whatever it is you do, spin. They make yarn to buy. So he's going for the steam. I'm going for the yarn. And there's going to be an Easter egg hunt. So the kids will be happy. So on Monday, we're heading off to this place. And there's something for everybody. So I'm very excited about that. It's called Cold Harbour Mill. That's the name of it. Cold Harbour Mill in Uffcombe. I'd never heard of it before. But yeah, so we're going there. So that's exciting. And then next week is a bit boring, really. My husband's back at work. So it's just... I've got my daughter's going on a sleepover, and then we've got her friend coming back for a sleepover. Where I work in a school, and we have a food larder, so a bit like a food bank. So twice a week we get deliveries from the local shops of the stuff that they've got left over, and they deliver it to the school, and then we open up for the community to come in and just take what they need. it's a wonderful idea. So on Wednesday, I'm going to take my girls down and we're going to be sort of manning the store, as it were, manning the larder, the lips and larder we call it. Yeah, manning that. So we've got to do that on Wednesday. Yeah, and nice, just nice, relaxed and chilled. So that should be good. And then my daughter's been, you might not have heard of this, it's called 10 Tours. And, sorry, something's happening out the window. I'm being nosy. My daughter's been training for 10 Tours. So basically where I live, we're near Dartmoor, and on Dartmoor there are like peaks, mountainy peaks, and they're called tours. And there's an event held every year for school-age children called 10 Tours. And over the course of 2 days, you walk either 35 miles, 45 miles or 55 miles. And this is the first year my daughter's so she's been training with her school since sort of October. She's been selected for the team. She's in the 35-mile team because you have to do that first. And at the end of April, so it was supposed to be the coronation weekend, but they've had to move it. So at the end of the last weekend in April, she's going to be going up to Dartmoor on the Friday night. They camp up there in like a big camp in near Okehampton. And on the Saturday then, early in the morning, sort of about 7 o'clock on Saturday morning, they all the sort of hundreds of teams from whoever wants to compete, all set off onto Dartmoor to walk their 35 miles. They have a route card that they have to follow. They have check-in points. Then they carry everything with them. So they carry all their food, their tent, the cooking equipment. They have to carry all their teams of 6 they're in. And they have to carry all that between them. So they get to the point where they're going to camp, they get their tent set up, and then the next morning they get up nice and early, about 4:30, and then they slowly make their way back to Okehampton, and we'll go up there on the Sunday and watch them. We'll wait for her group to come in. She should be there. They're quite a fast group, so I think they have to be in by 4 o'clock, but I reckon she'll be in around midday-ish. So we'll go up there, take a picnic, depending on the weather. And yeah, she'll have done her 35 miles. So really proud of her. She's worked hard to be part of that team, and she's doing really well. So we've got that to look forward to as well. I'm not looking forward to the early morning. Absolutely not, no way. And yeah, I just don't do early mornings. It's just not me. But I am looking forward to watching her come back in on the Sunday, and hopefully it will go well. There won't be over the years that 10 Tours has been running, and it's been running for a long time now. It's been called off. So it's always held sort of in May, end of April, beginning of May. It's been called off for snowstorms. It's been called off for heavy rain. It's been called off for too much sun, so sunstroke. They had to call it off. So anything can happen. This is England, and the weather here can be very unpredictable. So we've no idea what the weather forecast will be. I hope nothing gets called off, and I hope they get to do it after all the training. So yeah. And I think that's it. Yes, that's it. So again, it'd be really nice if you could like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will try and be back more frequently. Absolutely, definitely. But thank you so much for, sorry, window people again. Yeah, thank you so much, and I will see you again soon. Bye.